Next generation meteorologist Joe Shock here with our tropical update for August 14th, 2021. And let me tell you, it's escalating quickly, no question about that. I've been off the last couple of days having some fun, non-weather related. But here we are, mid-August, we're starting to get into the peak of the hurricane season here in the Atlantic Basin, and that will continue to increase over the next couple of weeks with the official peak between September 9th and September 11th. And that's when our climatologically is the peak, and that data goes back many decades going back. But anyway, here we are mid-August and things are ramping up. So let's take a look and see what we have to talk about today. So here is now tropical wave, Fred, but they're going to hold on to their name because this is coming back probably later on tonight. And then here's Grace, which was yesterday named potential tropical cyclone number 7. So Grace is showing no grace for the hurricane season. And I think that Grace is going to be a real problem down the road. And that's what much of today's discussion is going to be on, is Grace and north of Bermuda. Look out. We'll talk about that too as well. So here we are with the MJO from the European. You can see phase 2. It's working out pretty nicely, and we're going to remain in that phase into phase 3 over the next week to 10 days, and then come into the null phase, and then likely come back around into these impact phases of the Madden-Julian oscillation. And there's the JMA with the same kind of look over the next week or so in phase 2, and maybe a brief run into phase 3, null phase. And then you can see how the members start hooking left again as we come back around to this phase, likely as we close out the month of August and begin the month of September. So phase 2, phase 3, we're lit up. Look at that, the Atlantic Basin, quite impressive look. And I think we're going to come back into phase 1 and then back into phase 2 and 3 as the first week of September. So there you have it. Ocean temperature anomalies. The Atlantic Basin is completely above normal with exceptionally warm water. In the Northwest Atlantic, you can see some of these great anomalies here. 3, 4, 5 C above normal. And on some of the more higher resolution maps, closer to 10 Celsius above normal here off in New England. So really very impressive water temperatures showing up in this part of the world. And there you can see the actual ocean temperatures. The Gulf of Mexico pretty much 30 C, 86, 87 degrees Fahrenheit. Pretty much the MDR is over 80, 80 to 82, 83 degrees. The Western Atlantic is, mid, if not even upper 80s in patches, but, certainly a lot of 83, 85 degree water and 80 degree water pretty much up to 40 north. I mean, this is truly incredible. 40 north right in through here, starting at pretty much 40 degrees west here. Follow this line all the way up here and even over 40, maybe even 41. Yeah, definitely around 41 degrees north here. And then, it weaves in and out. But this is truly impressive here. They have 80 degree water up to 40 degree north. And then you look over here and, northwest of Africa, not that, closer to 70 or so. But really, really impressive stuff here in the western and northwestern part of the Atlantic Basin with that Gulf Stream, if you will, breaking things down here and allowing that warm water to spread out and heat up as well. And looking at some of the model forecasts, the shelf water here off the mid-Atlantic and southern New England coast over the next week or so with all this heat will quickly rise to 80, if not even close to 82, 83 degrees. So this is going to get a nice little bounce over the next week or so. So we'll see how that evolves in time. But again, things are loaded up. Here's the ocean heat content. You can see the amount of energy, and you can see clearly the Gulf Stream here, and then lesser values. But again, the higher values closer into the land areas. And as you can see here in regards with Fred, that as Fred emerges off of Cuba during the day today and tonight, is going to be traveling over some very, very high energy content values. So that is why this is going to be coming back. And then Grace is going to be working her way through some increased values as well. Now, how deep down in the ocean does 80 degrees go? And this is in meters, and you can see that, at least, 50 meters, more than enough, even some here over 125 meters in the loop current here in the Gulf of Mexico. And then, of course, with Grace, 75 to roughly 100 meters deep down, 80 degree water goes. So more than enough fuel for these two. And then, of course, Henry, which is going to get going up here. Let's take a look here. Yeah, actually some pretty good energy for Henry, probably this upcoming week as our upper feature closes off and likely comes hybrid and probably tropical over the course of the upcoming week here around the Bermuda area, which is also becoming of interest as well. So again, plenty of energy in the Atlantic Basin for these things to really take off again, as we enter the peak of the season. But again, these values increase as you head towards the land masses. So that is obviously the reason for concern. Now, the JMA that came in on Thursday, oh boy, upward motion over the Atlantic Basin in Africa. You can see the enhanced rainfall signature. There's that classic ridge over troubled water. This is this upcoming week, which begins today. Here's week 2, more of the same. Upward motion over the Atlantic Basin. Enhanced rainfall, the classic ridge over troubled water. You can see some of the low heights here showing up in the MDR, so that's a really interesting look. And then week 3 and 4, not much change. Upward motion over the Atlantic Basin, sinking in much of the Pacific. There's the enhanced rainfall over the basin, still that ridge over troubled water lurking. This is a very, very high impact, for tropical cyclones to hit the mainlands here. This classic ridge over troubled water, very, very classic look for a lot of impact over the coming weeks. European Ensemble tropical cyclone probabilities. You can see here's Fred, here's Grace, here's the feature out by Bermuda, which is going to develop over the coming days. Here comes the next one off of Africa. Here's this is through Monday night. This is through Wednesday night. Fred comes inland, weekends. Grace is somewhere in the Northeast Caribbean and Bahamas. Henry's out here, still becoming better known in the monofield. Here comes the other feature off of Africa. Next weekend, we'll see what Grace is. Grace is somewhere more than likely, I think, off the southeast coast in the Bahamas. Henry is somewhere in the western Atlantic. There goes Fred along a cold front, hour 192. This is a big conglomerate, so there's going to be some tropical cyclone activity somewhere along the east coast by next week, and probably Henry's out here. This is going to be Fred involved in a cold front. Grace is somewhere in this conglomerate, but there will be something possibly of significance along the east coast, and then here comes following features next week, and then after that, as we head towards the end of the month, you can clearly see that there's going to be some activity somewhere. I don't know exactly where it's going to be, but there'll be something to keep an eye on, definitely, as we round out the month of August. So here's the European 6Z, and you can see clearly, here goes Fred into extreme western Florida, Alabama, into Mississippi. Here, I think in these 3 states region here, somewhere around here. Here comes Grace, which I think the modeling is still, most likely the modeling is still underdone. And then here it is, I think, getting stuck around the southeast coast over the course of the week with this big ridge up to the north, and could certainly be an impact to the southeast. And then here's Henry coming along here in the model field as we head towards the middle and the end of next week, and then subsequent features coming off of Africa as well. So here is my forecast that I have for these various features. Fred's now again a tropical wave. I steadily ramp it up into a tropical storm, and then I think it does have a chance, looking at the upper atmosphere, the ocean energy that we looked at, that this is going to become a hurricane at some point during the day Monday and make a landfall Monday night or even early Tuesday on the Florida, Alabama, into a Mississippi coast, somewhere around here as a low-end hurricane early next week. That's what I do believe is going to happen with Fred. Now, Fred has a shot to even be stronger, too, so I want to stay on a little bit more conservative side but now, but certainly could even be stronger than 75 miles an hour at landfall, maybe even 85. That may be a stretch, but never know. Peak of the season, this kind of atmosphere, always going to keep an eye on that kind of a situation. Here's Grace. I think it's going to be 60 miles an hour tonight, maybe a little bit underdone with the intensity tomorrow, since it's already close to 60 miles an hour now. It looks like maybe this tomorrow is 70, but there's a little bit of wind shear. Could be some dry air that gets involved, so I want to hold back and I want to slowly ramp this up in intensity. But I do believe this becomes a hurricane, and the potential could really be that this becomes a major hurricane in the Bahamas by the middle part of next week. Seeing how the atmosphere is going to evolve, I would not be surprised if this becomes a major hurricane. And then what happens with this feature north of Bermuda dips down south over the next couple of days and then becomes Henry next week. And we'll have to see if there's any interaction between Henry and Grace off the southeast coast, and how strong these features get, because that could really be an interesting situation of its own by early next week. But at least this is my general idea over the next couple of days with these 3 features. And then you can see the tropical development favorability for the remainder of the month, and probably the next 4 to 6 weeks is going to be looking like this, with favorable conditions over the Atlantic Basin right through probably mid, if not even late September. So that's it for now, and thank you for watching.